Hey guys, welcome back to the DrCliffAuD vlog. This is vlog number 51, and we thought it would be fun today to actually kind of give you a year recap, because yesterday was Christmas 2020, and it's almost to the end of the year here, and so there's a lot of stuff that happened this year, and if you didn't get a chance to watch all 50 other vlogs, then we're going to kind of give you a quick rundown of really how the year went. And I think that we would start really with at the end of last year, we chose to have Ashley stop working at Mayo Clinic. And so it was right before Thanksgiving, actually, that you decided to stop working at Mayo Clinic here in Phoenix. And we made that decision because the clinic was growing. We knew that we were going to be shortly purchasing a new clinic location, and then there was a lot of logistical stuff that went along with that. Right. At the end of last year, we also started the DrCliffAuD Approved Provider Network. So there was a lot of administrative stuff that was required for that. And you've really taken the lead on really both of those things, from the clinic side of us expanding and growing into a new location, and starting the network as well. So for you, it's been a pretty big transition. Why don't you kind of like let everyone know what that was like for you?
Well, when I transitioned from when I was still working at the hospital, I knew I was going to be transitioning out, and I was just really excited because I had a lot of responsibilities and I couldn't keep up with everything, so I was excited. But what I think I didn't really prepare myself for was literally like going from working in medicine to a whole different, role. And I didn't know really what all to expect. I just kind of had an idea of like what I would be doing based off of the, type of tasks and responsibilities that I had been doing up to that point. But so it was a little, honestly, it was a little overwhelming when I finally just went, full-time into Dr. Cliff and the clinic, because, I'd been, immersed into both of them for a period of time, but
it was, you actually would come home from work saying, like, on my lunch break, I had to do administrative tasks for the Dr. Cliff Network and for the clinic.
I would just get so many emails from people, and that was my job, but Mondays and Tuesdays, I was, for like 14 hours, really unavailable to assist those individuals. And I just felt the pressure. Like, I didn't feel like it was...
Well, that's right, because before you actually stopped working there entirely, you had cut down your hours to only working a couple days. You were basically part-time finishing up that year. But then we jumped right into 2020 with both feet basically jumping in, and we had purchased the new office space.
Yes.
And when did we close on that? We closed in 2019 on the space?
Yeah, I think we closed in December.
We must have, because I was recording these vlogs, and that first one I did was in that space, and we had actually taken ownership of it at that time. Right. So we must have closed in like December, probably.
Yeah, I think it was toward the, middle to end of December, actually.
Yeah, and so, and then you guys, well, you may not know the story, but we started the build out of that in January, and we thought all of that was going to go smoothly, and it didn't take long for that to kind of fall apart really early on.
Yeah, well, I think early on from both the contractor and the architect, it was just taking the city longer to get the permit. So that took longer than what they had anticipated. And then a lot of other things, quotes that they were anticipating to be really high were just astronomically high, and just was kind of a jolt to what our overall budget was. So those were kind of like some rough beginnings there.
Yeah, and then, this was all pre-COVID, actually, really early in the year, because COVID didn't really hit us out here in Phoenix till really late March, I guess I would say. Yeah. And it was mid-March to where we actually ran into some significant roadblocks with the development of the new clinic. The layout was actually measured wrong, so all the blueprints and whatnot of the build-out were incorrect. Right. And the general contractor at the time went ahead and moved forward with the incorrect measurements of the space, which was kind of mind-boggling, and we actually had to raise the alarm 3 times before they stopped doing construction. But then it was a really big chunk of time that nothing happened in that office space. It just sat there, a quarter done with a lot of mistakes that had to get fixed. and we had no idea how that was going to get rectified. And on top of that, we get hit with COVID in March of 2020. And at that point, we had a full schedule and we were booking out several weeks for me, I know.
Yes.
And it went down to basically everybody canceled.
Yeah.
We had a few drop-offs, that would come in every day for like cleanings and repairs and things like that.
Well, curbside.
Well, curbside, basically, care. And we had to furlough our employees for, it turned out, ended up being only a week and a half.
Yeah, not very long.
Because we were fortunate enough to get the PPP loan, which covered the payroll expenses for, what was it, like 2.5 months, I think, is what they were covering with that.
Yeah, it seems so
long ago.
Like, trying to think back, because we've just, so much has happened since
this year has flown by with it. But, so we were able to bring our employees back, but there wasn't a ton of work to do, to be honest, inside of the clinic with seeing patients. Right. So that was kind of a weird thing. And then I guess once things started to clear up with that a little bit, we ended up getting in touch with a construction management company to come in and work with us in the new clinic, which was a really beneficial thing. That helped out a lot.
Yeah. When did we bring them on?
I want to say that was, March, April, May, June. It was probably July or August. I just remember it still being like really hot when they were in there doing things like fixing the mistakes. And they're like, wait,
we used their services for a few months, 2 or 3 months, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of investigative stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, between lawyer fees for that whole debacle and then the construction management costs, I mean, we're talking $10,000 to $20,000 that was probably spent on all of those things, somewhere in there. Yeah. I mean, I don't really like to talk about it. It's kind of,
it's hard for me to talk about it and like have a big smile on my face.
I know. Well, the good news is though, is that we're back on track.
Yeah, like I've kind of put that in the past and I've just moved on, and so every now and then something comes up at the clinic that brings up the past, and I'm like, let's just move past that one too.
Right, but here we are at the end of the year. We thought we were going to get certificate of occupancy, and we didn't
because of something that happened
significantly longer
6 months ago
in March, basically. Yeah, so there's a lot of issues still stemming from mistakes that were made really early on in this build-out process. It is something that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy.
No.
But at the end of the day, I think it's going to end up being a positive for us. And we're only a couple of weeks, most likely, from being able to move into the new clinic. And our commute time is getting cut a lot shorter. 20
like 10 minutes.
So our new commute time will be 10 minutes to the new clinic instead of 30 minutes to the clinic in Anthem. And it's not as good for our employees who live in Anthem, and hopefully they'll want to continue on and commute down to our location in North Phoenix. So we'll see how that ultimately works out. But I would say, in the year, as we look back at the year, the benefit is that we didn't go out of business. That was really a concern early on with COVID. It's like, boy, did we just invest in a new space and now patients can't even come in? Who knows how long this thing will go on for? Do we have enough cash reserves to kind of tide us over if we don't literally treat another patient for a year? I mean, we really didn't know what was going to happen with that. And we ended up coming out on the good side of it, which is better than what a lot of people can say. I know that there were audiology clinics that closed their doors permanently. I know that there's a lot of other small businesses, which is what this really impacted, was the small businesses in your local communities that are not coming back. I mean, this was like the dagger that got them. And even with the PPP loan, it's not enough to sustain a lot of these places for months or even years, I guess. I don't really know how else to look at it, but so I feel fortunate. There are hundreds of more individuals who are hearing better over this last year because we were able to somehow stay in business and kind of recover from this. We are back to the point now where I'm seeing patients very steadily. There's hardly any gaps in my schedule unless for the random where someone gets sick and they're worried that they have COVID or that they've been exposed to someone with COVID. We tell them not to come in. So, I mean, I'm not like a frontline worker. I don't consider myself a frontline worker. I'm not going to be getting the vaccine until all the people who need the vaccine more than me get the vaccine. And then we'll see what happens from a vaccine standpoint. But I'm just very thankful that 2020, sometimes you don't realize what you can endure until you actually have to endure something like that, and you come out on the other end a lot stronger than what you were going into it, and it gives you perspective on how just lucky I think we are, and to be able to work with the people that we do and to serve the patients that we serve. And I'm just very grateful for how this year actually ended up, considering it could have gone much worse.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's a good one.
Yeah, and I think that this is our update for 2020 and kind of what went down. We just got done with the majority of the holidays here at the end of the year. We didn't go anywhere.
Nope.
We just stayed here.
It was kind of nice though. It was just kind of low key.
Yeah, just kind of
Christmas.
Relax and cook really good food. At least, well, I know you like the good food too. So, and then relax a little bit. I know I've been taking a little time off of creating videos. I'm still doing video content. It's just not for the Dr. Cliff channel.
Yeah.
Or I guess we're still doing the Dr. Cliff vlog, which is good. But there's a lot of changes coming in 2021, a lot of good positive changes, projects that I'm working on. So I'm looking forward to 2021. But we will kind of stop there because next week we're going to give you kind of a preview of what we expect to go down in 2021. So Ashley, anything else you want to say?
No, I'm excited.
Okay, me too.
It's going to be a great year.
All right, guys, thank you for watching the vlog today. As always, if you liked it, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the vlog already. And as always, we'll see you next week.